What is good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about Jonathan Kuminga, a top 7 pick that people would definitely love to have. I think he's an interesting prospect because we've seen what he did in high school and we've seen what he did with the Ignite team in the G League. And he has a good size, 6'6", good body, 18 years old, so he has a lot of learning to do, especially on the offensive and defensive end. But he also has shown that he has some good skills and some good upside. Obviously, when I look at Jonathan Kuminga, I don't really see superstar player. Honestly, I do see a guy that you can do like a Knight did, plug him with other good players to great players, and he can just, shine in that role. And those guys are important. You look at the NBA Finals, you look at the playoff, you need that fourth or fifth guy that knows his role, knows his game, can elevate his game some games, and just, be steady. And those guys are important. Those guys are key to championship runs. Those guys are key to great regular seasons. And I think that Jonathan Kuminga can definitely be that because when you look at this draft, it is some teams that can use a guy that can play some two or some three and be switchable and also give you some post play, give you some playmaking, and also put the ball in the basket. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him as his athleticism and his craft isn't where it needs to be dominant at the NBA level. But we're talking about an 18-year-old kid. He has a long time to figure that out. He has more games to play, more experience to gain, and it also do depends on who he plays with. And I think that's the key for his success is getting the right group of veterans and getting the right stars so he can just play off of them and just fit in. And I think if he can get to a team, which a lot of these teams in the lottery have established stars and established players already to the point where he doesn't have to be the franchise savior. He doesn't have to be a superstar at all or right away. I think that that could be huge for his career, and I think that that's what he will mostly need because when you look at the way he operates and the way he scores, he's really just using, skill, using his footwork, using his drive, using his strength, using his mobility to sway off defenders, using his mobility to knock them off balance so he can get an angle on them to get a shot off. And a lot of his shots he work hard for. I think that's another reason why you can't have him as your number one scorer unless it's in the future because he's just working way too hard to score, especially with his drives to the rim and in the post. He has to do so much moving. He has to do so much things to get a shot off that's clean enough to be efficient offense. And if he has to work that hard and he can't really generate elite efficient offense, it's going to be tough for him to be your best player. And I really being what he's going to be in the league just because if he doesn't become a great shooter, and we've seen this with the Ignite team, he has to be able to knock down that mid range. He has to be able to get that catch and shoot three game down, and that will make him better. That will make him a significantly more impactful role player to a lot of teams. He will be a missing piece to a lot of teams if he can knock down that 15 footer and if he can knock down that spot up three, just because it just makes teams pay for helping, it makes teams pay for double teaming other stars, and the fact that he shows so much wit and so much, class getting to the basket with his spin moves, with his floaters, and the fact that, he can really go hard at the basket, that makes him a tough cover when playing with the right guys and having the right type of floor spacing. And I feel the same way about his post play. His post play is a little bit too time consuming. It's a little bit too much working and trying to move here, move there, and try to get the shot off. And I don't really think that that'll work at the NBA level because guys are more smarter, guys are more bigger, and guys are more disciplined than he faced in high school and obviously in the G League. And he will have to literally take more time to get a quality shot that is worth getting. And I just don't see that happening enough at the highest level against the best players and the best starters, which he probably will be a starter. I don't really see that being a play that you can consistently go to and rely on for Kaminga at this 18-year-old age that he's at now. Now he can develop into a dominant post player and a dominant scorer if his touch is there, if his shooting comes around from all levels of the court, and that just will open up his ability to score in the paint, and it will open up his drives to get to the paint and get to that floater, and it also will allow him to play easier off other players just because those shots are going to be the ones he's going to get. Either he's going to knock down the three, put it on the floor, get the mid range, or get all the way to the basket, which he has already shown that he can do so far in his career. And it's been short, but it's been juicy. And that's why a lot of people look at him as a must pick player. He's not at the level of Mobley. I don't believe he's at the level of Green or Cade. But if you have a team that already has those type of guys, you don't need them to be. And that's how I feel about Jalen Suggs too. And that teams need these type of guys. They do. And they are essential and they are important, and they allow the stars to be the stars, and they allow themselves to be what they are, and they're just a good balance and a good mesh when everything is clicking, especially if it's a team that moves the ball well and trusts guys to make the right decisions when they have the ball. Just make the right play, shoot it, pass it, or create a shot for somebody else with your driving game. And Kuminga can do all those things at 18. He just has to master those things to be a significantly better player if he wants to be something important and something coveted for in the league. So I'm gonna keep a watch out for him. He's young, he's talented, he's fun, but when I look at him with the ball, it's just a little bit more that I want, and I don't really think I'm gonna get it just because he has a lot of hurdles that he will have to overcome to be a superstar. It's not impossible for it to happen. It's not something that's gonna be blowing me away if it does, because it is all about fit, it is all about work ethic. But he has a lot of the things you need in a complementary player, and a lot of these teams are looking for that. And if they're not, it's multiple teams later in the draft that is. So I do think he will be a lottery pick. I do think that he is one of the most interesting players because he does have upside to be an all-star caliber player. Plus, he is a guy that a lot of teams would love to have for his age and what he brings to the table already, and the fact that he can master some things in the future and really be important to what a team identity is on both ends of the court. And I think that that's important, when you look at what he can be. You're not drafting him for one season, you're drafting him for multiple. So what you're getting now is a guy that has a lot of raw and a lot of rough edges, but if you're patient and you put him in situations where he can succeed early, that'll build his confidence, that'll build his game, and that'll just help everybody else's job become easier, and including his. And you can find yourself, a diamond in the rough, possibly in straight gold. We don't know. We only can go based off what we see now, and we only can go based off where he is now and where he was before, and see how his game can trend to possibly be better. And that's basically what you do when you cover the draft. That's basically what you do when you scouting. And I think that he is a guy that definitely should be a top 7 pick. And he really is a guy that's interesting. It's a lot of things I can see him being. It's a lot of things I can see him doing. It's just about seeing, what team he goes to. I think he is one of those players in the draft that his career can be what the coach makes him. His career can be what they need from him. And that will determine if he's the fourth guy. That will determine if he can be the third best player on the team. And that will determine if he's just going to be a guy off the bench. And it's unfortunate, but that's how the NBA goes sometimes. And Kuminga is one of those guys where you just don't know what he is going to be because he's only 18 years old and you don't know where he's getting drafted to. But if you project his career, he can be a great starter and can be even more than that depending on how he fleshes out the rest of his game. And that's worthy of a top 7 pick itself, because a lot of what the draft is potential. What he can be, what we can make him be, or what his work ethic can turn him out to be. And he has a lot of those things physically, he has a lot of those things mentally. It's just about shaping it, molding it into the right thing that it needs to be. And a lot of that will be decided on the coaching, and a lot of that will be decided on the personnel he's going to, and a lot of that will be decided on what he wants to be and what he feels like he can, bring to the table and add to the table as his career continues to go forward. And that's something that we can't see because it has yet to happen. And that's why it's going to be interesting to see what he will be. And that's why he's a guy you got to keep a lookout for in this particular draft. Other than that, let me know what you guys think about Kuminga, superstar, franchise guy, role player, third best player on the team, which is an all-star caliber player. Whatever you feel about Kuminga, let me know in the comment section below. I read every comment. I enjoy seeing what you guys have to say. This is an interesting draft. It's a lot of guys that teams will love to have, will love to add, will love to see be on their team. And that's what makes the draft fun each year, to see who goes up, who goes down, and who really becomes that guy that we thought would be good but becomes better, or that guy that we thought would be good and he becomes elite. And Kaminga could be that guy. We just have to wait and see. See y'all tomorrow.